Can you believe it? Scenes of Chinese citizens taking up arms against the CCP police is starting to unfold. Recently, a video circulated online depicts a violent clash between police and villagers in Anun Guo. In the footage, police officers in uniform can be seen using batons to strike local villagers. However, the villagers do not back down. After being provoked, they began to retaliate with sticks, stones, and even ignited fireworks. The scene was chaotic, with explosions and smoke filling the air, resembling a battlefield. The clash stemmed from the local government's enforcement of a mandatory cremation policy in Anun Guo. In Yanshang village, located in Leping town of Pingba district, Anshun, residents from Miao, Bai, and Han ethnic groups have long adhered to the tradition of burying the deceased. However, the local government has been forcing villagers to cremate their dead and transport the remains to crematoriums. Recently, after a villager passed away and the family held a traditional burial, the government sent a large team to the village to forcibly seize the uncremated body and transport it to the crematorium, sparking a violent conflict between the authorities and villagers. Starting on August 3rd, villagers set up tents and placed 4 coffins at the village entrance to prevent the government's corpse-snatching team from entering. On August 4th, a group of over 100 armed police officers and civil servants clashed with the protesting villagers at the barricade. Ultimately, the villagers achieved a brief victory, repelling the police forces. However, in the early hours of August 5th, the authorities dispatched a large number of police officers to suppress the villagers. They also cut off the villagers' electricity and communication networks in advance to prevent the villagers from organizing an effective resistance. The police also used tear gas, injuring and arresting many villagers. An informed local resident commented online, "There were over 100 vehicles and more than 1,000 police officers deployed to arrest the villagers." A search on Baidu for Chinese funeral reform policy reveals content stating, "Reform burial practices, eliminate outdated funeral customs, and conduct funeral frugally. Cremation is the direction of funeral reform, but it is not completely mandatory for the public to adopt cremation." Despite the provision stating not completely mandatory, the authorities have used violent means to enforce cremation, directly infringing on the rights of ordinary citizens to choose how to bury their dead. Additionally, ethnic minorities like the Miao and Bai people have their own traditional practices and customs. The CCP often claims to respect minority traditions, but now those promises seem to have been abandoned. Another corpse-snatching incident occurred in Datang town, Qiannan Prefecture, Guizhou, after a Miao villager, Yang, buried his mother according to local customs. The town's mayor led a team to forcibly exhume the body and take it away, leading to physical altercations between the two sides. The mayor later responded, stating that after Yang's mother passed away, they issued 3 funeral reform notices to Yang, all of which were refused. They were merely following orders from higher authorities to handle the body according to regulations, and the body has since been cremated as per the procedure. Some villagers have questioned the authorities' enforcement of mandatory cremation, saying, "The Chinese people have long believed in the principle of burying the dead in peace. The people only wish for their deceased loved ones to rest undisturbed. But our good government mobilized thousands of armed police, cut off electricity and internet, used tear gas, injured and arrested innocent villagers, and even exhumed buried corpses to cremate them. The village has no public cemetery, so what is the point of cremation? Shouldn't your weapons be used to defend the country? Why are they being used against the people?" In fact, as early as January of this year, videos circulated online showing that local authorities in Xinglong town of Anlong County in Guizhou sent people to a village in the middle of the night to forcibly seize an elderly person's ashes. The villagers banded together to resist, capturing hundreds of police and special force officers, who were only released after they begged for mercy and apologized. This has become a classic example of successful resistance against oppression in China. According to online sources, the reason the elderly man from the Miao village chose burial was that his family could not afford the tens of thousands of yuan required for a public cemetery. Therefore, they intended to bury the ashes locally after cremation. However, the local authorities, in pursuit of financial gain, mandated that all bodies must be buried in designated public cemeteries. On the night of January 9th, the authorities sent a team of hundreds of personnel, including police, traffic police, special forces, and other civil servants with multiple police vehicles and official cars, equipped with shields, steel forks, and other anti-riot gear, to the village to seize the ashes and violently suppress non-compliant villagers. In the past, local authorities often used such large-scale operations to suppress petitioners and villagers who resisted forced demolitions, and they rarely encountered significant resistance. Events were usually quickly quelled, and any sporadic acts of resistance were swiftly crushed with violence. However, this time, the brutal actions of the special police backfired, sparking widespread anger among the villagers. They mobilized overnight, using stones, bricks, and batons to attack the special police force. The special force quickly lost their nerve and fled in panic, but their escape routes were blocked by the enraged villagers, leading to their capture. On the morning of January 9th, after the police and special police officers apologized and made promises to the villagers, they left the village on foot, but their anti-riot equipment was confiscated by the villagers. Videos circulating online show villagers shouting and surrounding the police and special forces in the dark of night, with a young officer who had been captured crouching by the roadside with his hands clasped together in a pleading gesture, responding to the villagers' questions. Do you have any evidence? Do you have any evidence? I'm not the one to talk to. Please let me go, okay? Show us your work ID quickly. If you don't have it, we're going to beat you.
全部围在我们村里面了，警车也打烂完了，准备把政府都干死了。
At dawn, several smashed police and special police vehicles were seen parked by the roadside or within the village. Some police cars had wooden batons stuck into them, with police caps seized by the villagers hanging from the ends. Another video segment shows a large group of young male villagers standing outside the building where the captured police officers were being held. The police are seen exiting the building, with some villagers attempting to confront them physically, but others holding them back. A villager warns the police that if they dare to return, they will face death. In another set of videos filmed at the village entrance, the released captives are seen walking away in groups, some wearing vests with the words Anlong Public Security printed on them. The total number of released individuals reaches several hundred. Most of them walk with their heads down, appearing dejected, and some seem to be injured, limping, or supporting each other. Many villagers stood by the roadside, cursing them as bandits and lapdogs, warning them not to return.
These are all the government's well-fed dogs. Wherever there's a benefit, that's where they act like dogs.
The government sent down hundreds of people to attack the common folk, and now the people have finally won. Overseas social media netizens have praised the Miao villagers, saying, "This is truly heartening. This is the power of unity. It's the first time we've seen so many police officers flee in such disarray. Their heads hung low like stray dogs. It's so satisfying." However, some netizens worry that the ruthless CCP might retaliate, possibly sneaking into the village at night to arrest people, and they urge the Miao villagers to prepare. This prediction turned out to be accurate, as the people in Anshan, Guizhou were indeed subjected to government retaliation following the anti-oppression incident. These reports have been almost entirely erased from social media within China, which clearly indicates the CCP's deep fear of the success of grassroots resistance. In response, overseas Chinese on social media have expressed that as long as the Communist Party is in power, the lives of the people will not improve. The only way out for the Chinese people is to overthrow this dictatorial regime. The people are the masters of the country, and the police are supported by taxpayers, yet they claim to serve the people in such a manner. The time for a regime change is near. During the anti-oppression period in Anshan, Guizhou, from July 29th to August 4th, a large number of protest incidents broke out across China as rights defenders took to the streets to protect their interests. For example, in Holenboyer, Inner Mongolia, herds sought justice from the local government but were met with violent repression by the police. In Wuhan, Hubei, female workers initiated a collective strike to demand their wages and social security benefits. In Tangshan, Hebei, workers in Xinjiang Steel held a rally at the government building to demand their rightful compensation. Meanwhile, in Jiading, Shanghai, parents initiated a days-long protest after a private education company absconded with the tuition fees of over 1,000 children. Overall, in just 1 week, there were 11 incidents of peasants uprising across 9 provinces. On top of this, there were 7 worker uprisings, 1 student rights defense protest, 1 prepaid user rights defense incident, 1 merchant rights defense rally, 1 debtor rights defense incident, 1 tourist rights defense incident, and 4 homeowner rights defense protests, and 3 petitioner rights defense incidents. A total of 27 protest incidents occurred within 1 week, compared to 2 months ago, when a dozen rights defense incidents were mentioned in a half-month period. The frequency of uprisings in China has doubled, with the entire society under intense pressure. And recently, protest incidents have continued to strain this already tense social fabric. On August 12th, in Huanghaohua, Baota district in Shanxi province, police cracked down on homeowners from the Longfei Four Seasons flower apartments who were blocking roads in protest. Many were arrested. Before this, the homeowners had already organized multiple protests over the unfinished construction of their purchased properties. On the same day, Tianjia Datuan village of Pinglu district in Shanxi, the local government deployed police to forcibly seize land, injuring several protesting villagers. Also on that day, hundreds of homeowners from Sunak Ihe Chen Yuan in Xinyang, Shanxi, staged another protest, which at one point disrupted traffic. These homeowners had previously organized multiple actions due to the unfinished construction of their housing development. In Jinzhou, Liaoning, over 100 drivers from Shengbang Road Port Co., Ltd. also demonstrated at their headquarters on August 12th, demanding unpaid wages. These drivers, who had gone unpaid for months, began a strike on the 11th, which has now continued for several days. In fact, it's not just grassroots protests that are frequent, there are also growing tensions within the CCP system itself. Recently, the front page of the CCP's official newspaper, People's Daily, has conspicuously lacked articles featuring the party leader Xi Jinping for several consecutive days, leading to speculation among netizens. Since Xi Jinping came to power, he has emphasized that the party's media must be loyal to the party, and official media have typically escalated their coverage of Xi Jinping. At one point, People's Daily featured Xi's name in every single headline on the front page. However, over the past 5 years, there have been several instances where Xi Jinping's name has not appeared on the front page, and the frequent shifts in CCP propaganda have drawn particular attention from external observers. During the Baidehe Summer Summit period in early August, CCP propaganda appeared to have once again gone off script, as several officials within the system simultaneously took to the internet to publicly report other officials by name.
朋友们好，我今天穿制服。
For example, on August 3rd, the former head of the Price Supervision Department of the Datong City Market Supervision Bureau in Shanxi Province, Qiao Zhezhong, wearing his uniform and showing his law enforcement ID, publicly accused 2 of his supervisors, Feng Zhiwei and Yu Xiyun, of using their positions for personal gain and engaging in corrupt practices. On August 5th, Shi Kaihua, claiming to be the head of the Propaganda and Education Department of the Great Wall Chinese Merit List Project, held up his ID card and publicly accused Nie Mo Mo, the deputy secretary of the party committee, of the 13-tomb Special Administrative Region in Beijing of illegally carrying out a tile-laying project on the Great Wall, falsifying a national patriotic public welfare project, and aiding a fraud organization. The project charged exorbitant fees ranging from 80,000 to 800,000 yuan, under the guise of a patriotic public welfare state project. On August 8th, Zhou Qinghai, a cadre from the Discipline Inspection Commission in Siping Jilin Province, also posted a video online protesting his grievances. He wore a sign that read, "Is it right for the Siping Intermediate Court to refuse a retrial? Should the door to appeal be closed?" A netizen commented below, "It's laughable when even the public security, procuratorate, and judicial personnel are publicly reporting grievances online. How can ordinary people be convinced to follow the proper channels?" So far, there has been no information on whether the individuals being reported have been investigated according to the law, nor is there any clarity on the safety and further actions from the whistleblowers. Executive Director of the Taiwan Inspirational Association, Lai Rongwei, believes that the large number of public reports indicates that the CCP system has become dysfunctional and is no longer trusted by the people. The people have lost faith in the current political system, especially in the judicial system, and the fact that these reports have not been entirely erased from Chinese social media suggests that the CCP leadership may be using this as an opportunity to identify so-called bad elements and voices opposing Xi Jinping. They allow such reports to surface in order to ultimately eradicate these dissidents. An associate professor of political science at National Taiwan University, Chen Shimin, also shared his views, stating, "Such public reports have always existed, but the sudden surge recently is abnormal. This indicates that after the 20th National Congress, where Xi's faction gained absolute dominance and established a fully dictatorial regime, the situation has worsened. The public has even less confidence in the fairness of the judicial system, and even officials themselves can only restore to public reporting online, using public pressure to force the authorities to address these issues." Additionally, the appearance of numerous public reports also indicates that the phenomenon of officials lying flat has become more pronounced. The mentality among officials is that the more they do, the more mistakes they make, and the less they do, the fewer mistakes they make. Many thorny judicial cases are something nobody wants or dares to handle. Furthermore, the recent promotion of the online ID system by the CCP government may have also contributed to the surge in public reports. People are rushing to file public reports now, fearing that they might not even have the qualification to do so on social media in the future. For the CCP, using internet access as a means to threaten the people, control public opinion, and silence the public is the most effective method. However, continuing down this path will only exacerbate public resentment. Once internet access is also taken away, people will find various other ways to connect and protest, eventually leading to incidents like the Bangladesh coup. The current state of continuous resistance by the Chinese people is unlikely to change. CCP analyst Yan Dan said, "In the face of the CCP's tyranny, more and more Chinese people are standing up to say no to the CCP. This only shows that this evil regime, physical and mental control, and persecution of the Chinese people have reached an unbearable level, pushing people beyond their limits. The days of lockdowns on cities, villages, and roads may seem to be over, but human rights violations, brain control, internet control, and other forms of monitoring continue. Unwarranted cross-provincial arrests and the chaos of being punished for speaking out are happening constantly. The Chinese people are constantly struggling in the cage set by the CCP. Therefore, if the CCP does not fall, the Chinese people have no way out. Once they realize that all exits are blocked, the Chinese people are not afraid to die. When the people are no longer afraid to die in resistance, the complete collapse of the CCP is not far away."